Will Work for Patients, episode 37.
You know, when you're 40 years old and you're laying on your closet floor crying because you just can't fit into your 16s anymore, it kind of became a breaking point for me. We make sure that they know you just inspired someone to do something with their life. We are putting focus on how our clients can be inspiring to their family and friends and how they can always pay it forward.
What up, Will Workers? Frank Sardella here, and do I have an episode for you today? In fact, it's such a killer episode, I'm not going to give you much of an introduction. Today's episode is about inspiration, and you are going to not only get inspired, but you're going to learn how to have an inspiration-based practice. How would you like that? Well, sit tight, strap in, and listen up, because it's time to get inspired. Today's episode is Inspiration Can Transform Your Practice.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Will Work for Patients, a free advice podcast dedicated to help chiropractors get on purpose and grow their practices. Get ready to tune in and turn up the volume of your practice marketing. And now, turning up the volume on his mic, big-time chiropractic advocate and your host, here is Frank Sardella.
Hey, that's me. That's right, Frank Sardella here, your host, Will Work for Patients, and I'm so happy to be back. And we have an exciting episode for you today. I'm so excited to get into it. But before we do, I have a couple of things to take up since our last episode with you, and that is the new set of videos that are now on the YouTube channel. Okay, chiropracticmarketingadvice.com is also our YouTube channel. So make sure you search chiropracticmarketingadvice.com in YouTube. Find the channel and subscribe now, because there are some spectacular videos, including one we did today, which is a Hollywood blockbuster movie trailer for the show, and I really want you to see it, and I want to see your comments on it, and so on. And please give your feedback. You can always write me at frank@chiropracticmarketingadvice.com. Anyway, I'm so excited about our guest today. I've been trying to get her on the show for the longest time. We've been trying to get our schedules to coordinate, and finally, the planets aligned, the gods shone down upon us, and here we are together in one podcast episode. And it is going to be a blockbuster. And before I introduce her, I just want to take a minute to thank our sponsors.
Good health is hard to find. How do you find that one gem, let alone keep them? Besides, aren't they working for someone else? Face it, you're looking for a clone of you who can do what you can do. What if several clones of you showed up right now? What could you accomplish? What would it mean to your practice? Clones are made, not found. So are staff members. Fortunately, someone can help you make them. Introducing basic staff training by my friends at Effective Management. No, they're not geneticists, but they're out to duplicate your actions as well as those used by top-notch administrators, instilling them in your staff, building you a team of on-purpose, confident staff gems, valuable to expansion. Here is an easy-to-follow system that takes minutes a day with your staff, turning them into an effective, supportive team without your even being there. I love their systemic innovation based on experience. In fact, I've witnessed even some of the most defiant staff becoming truly valuable to practices implementing basic staff training. I recommend you visit effectivemanagement.net and take advantage of their free 8-point business analysis, revealing key areas of your practice, keeping you from building that team and prohibiting your true potential growth. Visit effectivemanagement.net or call 551-804-7243. Build that support team you need to help you achieve your practice goals. Find out about basic staff training today.
Okay, so our guest today is a certified natural health practitioner, holistic health coach, and small business owner. She decided to open her own business to fulfill her passion of helping people make lasting lifestyle changes after she herself lost 50 pounds and changed her entire career and life path. She is married, a mother of 3, and holds a Master's of Science degree in education with a math concentration. She received her health coach training at Integrative Nutrition in New York City, Natural Health Practitioner Certificate from Trinity School of Natural Health, and is certified by the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. Guys, right? She's one of ours. She is currently pursuing her board certification toward being a naturopathic doctor. She has a very successful weight loss business where her clients are being supported on their journey to release their weight and then sustain and maintain a healthy lifestyle, which results in lasting, permanent weight loss and a healthy body, mind, and spirit. I could go on, but as usual, I'm gushing, so I'm just going to let her speak. Please welcome here to Will Work for Patients, Nanette DeGroat. Nanette, welcome to the show. Say hello.
Thank you, Frank. Hi, everybody.
Awesome to have you here, Nan. With the introduction I gave you, I almost feel like it doesn't do you justice. So I was kind of hoping that you could fill it in more from your perspective, sort of from the standpoint of your background.
Well, okay, I can start with how I came about leaving teaching. I had been dieting for 22 years, quite unsuccessfully. I tried lots of different diets. I tried MetaFast and Nutrisystem and, all of them. I got to my highest point at 215 pounds, and I did MetaFast. I lost weight, gained a lot back, and just wasn't happy. I decided at that point, though, that I couldn't keep trying to diet. I just had to accept myself for being overweight and just get on with life. At that point in my life, I have 3 kids. I was just finishing up school. I got my master's degree at 36, and I landed a great teaching position. And I wasn't planning on not teaching. I mean, I went to school for it, and I was loving it. But my aunt had come home from Florida, and she had done this amazing weight loss program. She told me it was a diet. I basically said no thank you. And 3 months later, I had finally gotten to the point where mentally and emotionally, I just couldn't deal with being that overweight. I was back up to 205 pounds at that point, and I really just needed to do something different because I didn't feel good, and I was tired all the time, and all that stuff that comes along with being overweight. So I decided to give it a shot. I had looked into what she had done, and I read all about the Dr. Simeon's protocol and the supplements, and I decided to try it. So, when you're 40 years old and you're laying on your closet floor crying because you just can't fit into your 16s anymore and you're moving into that size 18, that kind of became a breaking point for me. So I did go on the program. The first 7 weeks, I had lost 35 pounds. Then I took a short break, and then I went back onto the program in January of 2012. It took me about a month to lose another 15 pounds. So altogether, I lost 50 pounds in 65 days.
Wow.
I've kept most of that off, so not too bad.
Yeah.
I definitely want to try to work some more healthy habits into my own personal life, so I'm working on it. It's a journey for everybody, but that's basically where I want to take my clients, because I think it's important to teach them how to lose the weight properly and get it off, give them a clean slate, but then the most important part is, how do you live life to make sure you keep it off and you don't keep going back to those same old triggers that pretty much got you into the weight category that you're in now. So that's what we're working on now. It's very exciting.
Words of wisdom and pure platinum, Nan. Well, workers, I just can't say enough about this introduction that Nan gave, and actually, I just want to point out a few things. First of all, here Nan was in a totally different profession, not even thinking in these terms that she would ever be in a profession such as this and be helping people in the way she is. She was already helping. She was contributing. She was a math teacher. But here she had this personal life thing that was going on with her. And Nan, I never get tired of that part of the story about sitting in your closet in tears, like can't fit into anything and reaching that breaking point. And I very much reached that breaking point with my own health, so I understand this. And it didn't drive me to go to chiropractic school. It drove me to help more people get under chiropractic care. And, well, workers, this is actually what Nan did. I mean, really, the fact that she became a practitioner is almost the minor part of the story. The fact that she just wanted to help as many people as she could, not have to experience that. And you very much have chosen a profession yourselves that's very much the same way. But this is something that she's passionate about now and has grown and blossomed into this humongous business, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. Also, I want to point out, Nan, I love that you mentioned triggers, because it doesn't just apply to weight loss. Like, you can get treated, but if you don't handle your life, you're just going to fall back into those old patterns. So thank you so much for that. That is really just a gem just in your own personal bio. Listen, I know it didn't end there. I know you realized that you wanted to help others, but at what point did you say, I think that I would like to take a stab at growing a practice doing this?
Well, after I lost the weight, it wasn't until about February of 2012 where I decided to stop wearing my fat clothes because I was literally falling out of them and get some new clothes. And so here I am now wearing a size 8. And I mean, that's a size I hadn't seen since somewhere between kid 1 and kid 2. So once I started wearing different clothes and people started actually seeing how much I had lost, they couldn't believe it. People started coming to me and asking me. And of course, here I am handing out that guy's business card, the guy in Florida. So I decided, gee, I wonder if I could do this myself. And that's how I got started. It only took about 20 business cards or so before I decided, hey, maybe I should try to do this myself. Because what was happening was people were ordering their program and then they were coming to me asking a million questions. They weren't calling him. So here I am coaching them, helping them, and it was fun. It was exciting. I couldn't wait. Like, if I knew somebody was going on the program, I was so excited for them because I knew that if I could do it, anybody could. That's really how I feel. just because I had gone through so much and such a long time with struggling with my weight.
Wow.
So I was super excited when people were getting on, and then, of course, I would answer all their questions and help them through it, and it was so rewarding. So I found myself not only teaching kids during the day, the math lessons and algebra and geometry, but then I'd be sitting in the faculty room after school teaching adults how to do their weight loss program. So by the end of February, I had just decided that this is something that I wanted to do, and I just figured it'd be a part-time thing, no big deal. So I got started, and by the end of June of 2012, I had to make a decision at that point because it got so busy. I mean, I was sitting with people at my kitchen table for like 5 nights a week, sometimes 2-3 people at my table at a time. And then It was just getting out of control. I just couldn't keep up with that, plus all the teaching and everything.
Sure.
So I decided in June to go and sit with a business consultant, give him my numbers, show him what I'm doing, show him my margins, whatever I had. And I asked his opinion. I said, look, I'm talking about leaving a really secure job, summers off, benefits, tenure, all of it. What do you think? And he looked at everything and he said, if this is something you really like to do, you'll be fine. Give it a shot. See what happens. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen is what I said to myself. What's the worst thing that could happen? It just doesn't work out and I go back to being a teacher. I mean, nobody can take my math license away, so I could go back if I wanted. They always need math teachers.
Sure.
So I resigned in August, quite shocking to the principal that I worked with. I just told her, this is something I want to do, and I'm excited about it. And if you can't be happy for me, that's okay. So
I think we all know that one.
Yeah. So I started building my business from home. Took me about a year or so before I started growing out of my dining room. And I got my own office, right here in the same village that I live in. And it's been growing ever since.
Wow. The whole fact of leaving your teaching job and the risk involved, there's just so much to take away from this. Will Workers, we have here somebody who had a secure job, who was happy in her job. Am I mistaken, Nan? You were
I loved it.
Pretty happy as a math teacher, yeah.
Yep.
She absolutely loved her job. She was already doing something very humanitarian. She was one of the good ones. This wasn't the teacher that you hated in school. This was the teacher that you look forward to going to class for. And she had the security. But I want to first talk about inspiration a little bit, and we're going to get into that in a second. But, I get asked a lot, like, how do I inspire my patients? And there's nothing more inspiring than being the inspiration, being the story, being successful, and people get inspired by your success, and that's what really drives them. And too often in our profession, we just get into the technical delivery of it and the knowledge that we have and trying to force the knowledge almost on others and be like, why can't you see this? You must get well, you must get well. But actually being a living, breathing inspiration in yourself. And that's something we tend to forget when we get stuck in the business end. And here Nana, she lost all this weight and she was just this shining example. People are going, how can I be like you? And here she was teaching by day and around her kitchen table 5 nights a week with up to 3 people there at night. I can't even imagine, Nan, when you found time for lesson plans and grading and all that kind of stuff. And then goes to a business coach. And this is also another sort of hidden little gem in what you just said, because our audience goes to school for a profession. Most of them are chiropractors. Some of them are other wellness professionals. And you go to school to learn that, but nobody teaches you sort of how to take that and make it into a business. And so that's a big stick factor right there. People get stuck on that point. And Nan had the foresight to say, let me go to somebody who knows business, who's a coach, who knows what to do. And she went out there and asked a coach and put it all on the line and then gambled it all. How inspiring is that? And Nan, you really did it big. I mean, quitting in August just before school starts was probably pretty big. And I could see some of the backlash that came from there and so on. But despite all that backlash and the security that you had and the tenure and the summers off, you went and you did it. So that's really commendable. Now, on the subject of inspiration, how do you feel inspiration really plays into your program today, like that original inspiration? Look, you've been doing this a couple years now. And how many people do you have to date now through the program?
Over the last 4 years, we put on over 4,000 people through our program.
Wow. 4,000 people in 4 years. So it's almost like most businesses, if they saw 4,000 patients in their first 4 years, it's almost like you would get away from the original inspiration. But I happen to know it's very much not that way with you. I just attended an event last weekend that you put on, acknowledging and giving awards to your people, and you put this big event on every year. And all I saw was that original inspiration. How do you feel you kept that all this time, these 4 years, and have it not sort of wear out or wear down or what have you?
I really feel the biggest shift that I made when it came to that was that we are putting focus on how our clients can be inspiring to their family and friends and how they can always pay it forward. And one of the things that I do, I mean, we don't do any advertising. We don't put things in the paper and the radio and all that stuff. It's all word of mouth advertising because people are inundated with diets. There's a diet on every other radio channel and every other commercial. So we've all seen so many of them, and I think most of the time people will do a diet if they see a family member or a friend be successful on one. What we do is we make sure our clients are rewarded, and when someone sends us a family or a friend to do our program, we automatically send them a $20 check. If that person signs up, they get a $20 check. And we make sure they know when we send that check or when we see them on Facebook, we make sure that they know you've just inspired someone to do something with their life, or you have just helped someone change their family tree. I mean, if you get a healthy grandma now, what's she going to do with her grandkids? You know what she's going to do. She's going to make sure they're talking nutrition and make sure the little grandkids aren't getting chubby. You know.
That's right.
We want to make sure that people understand that what they're doing is not just affecting them. Because this woman went and lost this weight. She inspired 4 people. Those 4 people inspired 4 more people. Now, right there, that's 20 people that one person inspired, and she only knew 4. So we really want people to understand that when they pay it forward, first of all, they're financially getting rewarded for it. But secondly, they're getting the recognition for it. And like this past year, you know, we sent out an email just reminding people we have sent over $12,000 worth of referral checks out last year. So,
holy cow.
For us, you know, we don't spend that kind of money in marketing, although we very easily could. As most business owners know, it's expensive to market. But
absolutely,
that kind of money that we've spent on quote-unquote marketing has brought us the best clientele. So,
and you can't beat a marketing program like that, too. I mean, that's only $1,000 a month, and certainly practices spend a lot more than that on marketing, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, we are constantly reminding people that they are an inspiration to one another. I think the one biggest thing that we've done that has made the biggest difference, not just those referral checks, the other thing that we've done is we have built a private Facebook community that nobody else can go on and see unless you're a breakthrough client. And everybody that goes on there, they can put their pictures on there. Nothing can be shared. It's only with that little community. We have over 1,600 people on that private Facebook page. And every single day, there's somebody on there that might be down. There's somebody on there that will be happy. And I can't tell you how many times people have come into our office or called us and said, that Facebook page saved me from making a stupid mistake on my diet. Or, we've been inspired by somebody's before-after picture. We have Transformation Tuesday. People put up their before and afters just to inspire other people.
Wow.
So, spiritually speaking, they're getting fed by knowing that they're helping other people, and then other people are going on there and getting fed, and now they're able to pick themselves up now and move on. Because, I mean, we can't be there for them 24/7. A coach can only say so much to you. They got to go to bed sooner or later, you know. We make sure we give them that support they need, but that community that is there, it's huge for people that want to make a lifestyle change.
Just unbelievable. The big bombs you dropped here, pay it forward, spiritually speaking, and people are inspiration to one another. You just hit it right on the head there. And actually, Will Workers, this is how I got into what I'm doing and why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing, because I started out just being an inspiration to others, just telling everybody, in my case, about chiropractic and how it saved my life and how it got me off drugs and how it got me out of this trap where I was younger than 30 and thought I wouldn't live to see age 30 and so on. It's like all you have to have is a story like that and just tell it to one other person. And Nan is showing here the ripple effect that that can create. Here's this one person who had this one success, told 4 people, and then it's fanned out to 20 people and so on. And imagine where it's gone from there. I mean, who knows? And even people you don't know about can be inspired by that. Like maybe people they told that they didn't even know made some change in their life, whether it was with Nan's program or they went and saw a holistic health person or whatever, and they got healthy any way they could. I mean, the ripple effects just go like miles wide. So, wow. First of all, there's so much value to what you said, because my whole origin in getting into this profession was on going out and doing screenings. That was what I was good at. And I think the reason is for the same reason that you don't advertise. It's because I love to talk about it. And I just couldn't see any other way of marketing except face-to-face. And this is something people shy away from, but really shouldn't, because that's where the real inspiration takes place. It's in the conversations with people. And I might add, and Nan, correct me if I'm wrong, it's in listening to people's stories, not just telling them about your story, but hearing theirs and comparing and empathizing and understanding and being maybe the first person who ever listened to them. Mm-hmm. And, once you have that opportunity, you're opening the door to a person having an actual chance at a future that they're not stopping or blocking because somebody's forcing something on them. So that is definitely really impressive. And as far as your marketing program, $12,000 a year, is a drop in the bucket to some people. They're like, wow, I wish my marketing budget was $12,000 a year. I spend easily 3 times that on mailings and, this promotion and that promotion, when actually the delivery that you're doing is enough inspiration. Now, I do want to mention to our chiropractor friends in the audience that in our profession, we don't have the luxury of writing that $20 check because we have things like fee splitting. And I do encourage you, my good friend Kathy Mills-Chang, kmcuniversity.com, if you have any questions about legalities in marketing and compliance issues and whatever, please do check with your local board before you do any program like that. But in lieu of a check, it can just be some sort of acknowledgement, a thank you, a card. Nan, I just went to your event this weekend. You had actual plaques, like really, really nice aesthetic plaques made up that you handed to people as an acknowledgement. There are all kinds of ways you can acknowledge people that aren't monetary, but wow, what a great program. Thanks for that. How large are you guys today? Like, let's say you were a single coach, you had just the supplements that you learned to do with that particular program, and it was pretty much just you in the beginning.
Yep.
What has that expanded to now?
Well, my husband left his 15-year FedEx job, and he works at the office now. My daughter is full-time. She's doing a gap year, so she's decided to work with us for full-time. I have another full-time employee that does the back office stuff. Starting next week, actually, I have another full-time employee. So I have 3 full-time employees plus my husband and myself. I have 5 coaches that are paid as a contractor, like a 1099. And I have 3 distributors that are building their own business. So our family has obviously grown, and I'm excited to be able to provide 9 jobs or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, so...
Sure. And that's got to be great having the entire family involved, pretty much. I mean, not your entire family, but you have your husband, you have your daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope that I could get the other 2 involved sooner or later, but they got to carve their own path.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. Knowing you, Nan, sooner or later I have a feeling they'll end up there between you and me.
Maybe.
Perhaps. Okay, and then I've noticed, expanded your product line, too. So can you just maybe tell us like what products and services you've sort of grown into?
Well, first of all, when I decided to get the office space, I really wanted to offer them the food products that are so hard to find. And they're from different companies like Bragg's. There's a nature place that I buy the vanilla powder from. There's like different types of products that make the program more palatable for people. They can enjoy the program a little bit more if they had these little extras to use while they're on the program. So I only carry the hard-to-find stuff. So that helped a lot. The supplements I've recently added are really kind of gearing me up for my next phase with the business. My next phase in the business is for me to take on more clients that want to talk about health and the naturopathic path. So with that, I've added 4 new supplements. I've added a probiotic, a digestive enzyme, turmeric, and I have a cleanse. I have the CalMag C, which I absolutely love, and an adrenal support. And I've added the 4 specific ones just because I want to talk to people about how stress affects them. So that's why I have the adrenal support. How inflammation affects them. So that's why I have the turmeric. So really what I did was I bought specific supplements so that it can bring up conversation about very specific issues that most people face. Whether it's a probiotic because people have just been way overexposed to antibiotics, a digestive enzyme because every person out there seems to have IBS or something like it.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other 2 things, inflammation and stress. So I actually bought products that helped me with talking points. And I want to eventually lead them into a naturopathic way of living down the road. I mean, that's my next journey, I feel. So that's why I've expanded into those things. And I really feel that using the calcium magnesium is going to help with the pH, and then once you get that settled, then a whole bunch of other little dominoes can be knocked over too, because pH is the number one thing why people have issues. So we start with the most basic stuff, and then we start from there, and I'm excited about adding these things in. So
I can tell. First of all, you deserve every degree of success, and I know you will attain that level, with the naturopathic and so on, and a more wellness-based practice. Yes, absolutely. The first thing I noticed at your event was the supplements had drastically expanded, and I can see you've put a lot of thought into those supplements. And Will Workers, this is even a lesson to be learned. What Nan has done is she's really tuned in to her patients. She's really in tune and listening to what comes up with them and what types of things they're running into and what their lifestyles are like and what their triggers are and all these different things. And she's taken that and zoned in on each with a supplement for each, with an answer for each, so that she's developed a more personalized program that people are automatically going to resonate with. And that's just pure genius. And honestly, from what I've seen, you've just turned Breakthrough M2 into quite a brand. All the supplements are now private labeled, and she's really got it going on. I mean, you go in there, and it just reeks Breakthrough M2. You just go in, you listen to the seminar, you see how the program works, and you sign up, and you get all your stuff. And it becomes easy. And as far as the supplements, you mentioned the CalMag-C and adjusting the pH and also helping with some of the withdrawal symptoms people go through in the initial weight loss. Episode 9, guys, we had Desiree Lotz, the CEO of Sunshine Vitamins, who actually spoke at Nan's event this weekend, who actually provided a supplement that Nan now private labels as part of her lineup. You can hear more about that in Episode 9, but even the other ones, the turmeric, you hear so much about that now and about the benefits of it, and Nan here has incorporated it into her program. And the last thing I want to say about that, Nan, the biggest thing that I get when I hear from chiropractors for the first time and I ask them, what's your goal? What do you want to do in practice? And all of them invariably say, I just want a wellness-based practice. So it's a very common thing, but no one ever seems to be able to create one because they just go in and they open up their doors and they say, okay, I'm a wellness-based practice, and no one comes. So the point is that what Nan's done is she started with the problem most people have and handled that and built herself up, and now she's inching her way, and she's almost there, and she will be there to a wellness-based practice now because she's handled all of the things that are out there. Because the majority of the people are not living a wellness lifestyle, and they don't even know what one is. And as a matter of fact, I've observed that a lot of people think they're living a wellness-based lifestyle when they're actually not.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think there's a lot of content out there that people are being exposed to. Everybody's reading little snippets of magazines and headlines and tweets and whatever else they're reading, and they start incorporating little things here, there, and everywhere, and now all of a sudden they think they're living healthy. They're not.
I agree. So the point here is patience. It's have the foresight to go in there and go after the cases that are pain cases or that are acute cases. I always give the story because I love telling anecdotes, and Will Workers, you guys know that I even repeat stories over and over, but I don't care. I had this guy who was thinking about coming on board with us to have him do our screening program, and he was one of these wellness-based practices. He had a beautiful aesthetic practice, and he did have patient base, but it just wasn't enough to really sustain the lifestyle that he wanted to have. But he just told me, he said, Frank, I just don't want to take on, like auto accident cases and stuff like that. I just don't want to turn into one of those practices that treats those people. And so I continued to talk with him and get him to tell me more about it and tell me more about the wellness model and the wellness lifestyle that he wanted to have his patients live in the wellness-based practice. And we talked it out. And then he talked about pain cases and personal injury cases and whatever. And so he was very reluctant to sign on because he just didn't want to go out and meet the general public. He just didn't want to go out there and screen people. And finally I told him at the end of that, I said, listen, I just need to tell you one thing. I was an auto accident case. And it was funny, I didn't say anything after that. I didn't even explain it, but you could see his face kind of lit up and color came back to his face again. This was a very uncomfortable subject. And he wrote me a check right there to sign on for our program. Because I think he realized at that point that, you have to reach out to those cases. They're out there and they're really potential. They're not just wanting to be that way. Do you experience that with people with weight loss?
Yeah, I do. I have so many clients that are gastric bypass.
Wow.
These people, they've already tried the most invasive form of trying to get self-control and self-discipline you could ever imagine.
Yes.
And here they are back again, because well, here's the problem. You get the surgery, that's great, but you can't eat the whole Twinkie, so you'll just eat half now and half later.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's not changing their mindset, and they know at that point, I don't even have to say anything, because they already know that their mindset has to change about what they're doing with the rest of their life. And the first 10 minutes of my seminar, probably even 15 minutes of my seminar, I talk about lifestyle, decisions, stress, triggers, if food is your primary coping strategy, if food is your legal drug of choice to fill the void in your life, that's what I talk about, because everybody can relate to that, because every one of us use food in some way, shape, or form as a void filler somewhere along the line. And if I can connect with people in that way and let them see that we all do it and it's okay, but at the same time, I want them to know that there's hope, that you can change this. You don't have to be stuck with that type of mindset and that type of lifestyle and the same old triggers every single time you come across a situation. You can get rid of that, but they have to have a realistic understanding of what it's going to take. Just like I recently visited a chiropractor myself, and he looked at me, he said, look, you're going to have to come here for about 8 months, and then you're going to see change. As long as I knew that ahead of time, I was ready.
Exactly.
You know?
And the point is, probably the actual diet step is the minor part of the program. I think lifestyle, decision, stress, filling the void, intervention into that lifestyle and active participation on the part of the client is probably the majority of the program, yeah?
It is. But we give them tools, too. We give them tools to, deal with the spiritual part, the mental part, the emotional part as well. We want them to understand that right from the beginning, that they cannot take this body that's lost this weight and stick it right back into the old mindset, because you're going to get the same old body. And one of the things I continually tell my clients at every single seminar is that your body, your outside body, is a reflection of exactly what's going on the inside.
Wow.
So depending on how you handle life, how you handle stress, or whatever you're doing, it's going to show up on your outside of the body. And we got to take a look at that. They have to be willing to take a look at it, because that's what I call now, because now I'm starting to market this, the second journey.
Wow.
The first one is really to kind of get to that point in your life that you're saying, okay, I have to lose this weight. I really got to do something about this. This is not healthy. And then once they get to that point, I have to then bring in the idea that this second journey is totally connected to the first, but yet it's separate. Because now you have to learn how to live in this new body, and you have to learn how to continue on with these habits, even though the structure of the diet is not forcing you to anymore. This has to be willful. It has to be on purpose by you now without any outside help. So either you're going to do it or you're not. And that's journey number 2.
Amazing. Will workers, all I have to say to you is 3 phases of care expanded. Relief phase, corrective phase, and above all, I think to take away from what Nan's saying here is the maintenance phase. But we can now listen to this and look at those 3 phases in an absolutely different light, because we have to expand on those things. Maintenance care is not, they come in once a month for the adjustment. They don't just come in. You have to be intervening into their lives and inspiring them to live that life. And as Nan called it, give them tools. What a great thing. And sit down and just look at your 3 phases of care, and how much are you doing on each phase? Is it just the adjustment? Are you just leaving all the responsibility on yourself to give them that adjustment? You're going to see the maximum 1 hour. Nan's going to a chiropractor for 8 months on a treatment plan that is probably, Nan, what's one visit?
It's about a half an hour.
Okay, so it's even less, right? So here it is over 8 months, however many times you're going, you're living your life the majority of the hours without him in your life. And that's really what I want our listeners to really grab a hold of here. You need to give them tools, you need to give them support, you need to coach them, you need to be involved. And that really looks like the secret to success of your program, Nan. So thanks for that.
Yep.
Okay, Nan, so this is where we wrap up, and usually I get the last word here, but before I do that, I'd just like to ask you, what would you really say to a practice owner who really wants that wellness-based practice, who had inspiration maybe years ago, maybe lost a little bit of it along the way? We get beat down in our purpose in this profession. What would you say is a takeaway, something that's kept you going all this time, on how to really capture that every day in practice and really keep it going and expand on it?
Well, I think there's two things that if I can encourage any wellness small business owner to do. One is to get your clients involved in inspiring others and let them know that they have the power to make a difference in someone else's life and giving them the credit for it. So somehow rewarding them, even if it's sending them a T-shirt, even if it's having a whiteboard out front in your office that says thank you for the referrals and that person's name is up on that whiteboard. Whatever it is, reward your client somehow in making a difference and make sure they understand what that means. You've made a difference in someone else's life. Thank you. And give them the kudos for doing that. That's one of the biggest things that has helped our business grow, is that we're recognizing people for the fact that they're wanting to go out and inspire others.
Fantastic, Nan. Thank you. Now for the last word. Who gets the last word? I do. After all, it's my show. What should you take away from today's episode? If anything, I'd like you to take to heart one thing. Inspiration is the best marketing program you'll ever do. And it doesn't just come from you, but rather from your patients. How does it come from your patients? It's not just that you're inspiring them, it's that you're delivering something to them of value that's going to change their life. So those miracles you create every day are not any less valid because the state doesn't want to pay you what they're worth, because an insurance company doesn't want to pay you what they're worth, because Obama doesn't want to pay you what they're worth. They're worth everything to your patients, more than you know. There are lifestyle changes happening right now in your patients' lives that you don't even know about. But what you need to do, and your best marketing campaign you can do, is deliver the most amazing care you can and deliver those miracles to your patients and change their lives. And then they will be the inspiration to others that you're looking to create. And that is the best marketing program ever. And Nanette DeGroat with Breakthrough M2 has proven it time and time again. $12,000 a year on marketing, will workers. Get that through your head. I mean, yes, don't go out and start writing checks just yet. Check with your local board, but go acknowledge them and exploit that, and exploit it in a good way. I don't mean that in the way people talk about it in marketing, but this is the way to do it. And you will be able to evolve your practice based on that, and you will have an organization there with your patients behind you that will very much help you evolve your practice into the future and into the practice of your dreams. Nan, I want to thank you again for appearing today. You have no idea what it means to me. Just the content is even more valuable than I even imagined. I knew it would be, so thank you for that. This is the part of the show where we usually allow our listeners to be able to ask questions of our guests, so I'd like to find out the best way that they can hook up with you.
Well, there's a couple different ways. We do have a website, which I think is probably the best way to go. It's breakthroughM2, M as in Mary, the number 2.com. There's a free plan link on there. You could click on there, and we'll send you a video and a copy of the free plan. There's lots of befores and afters. So visit our website. We have an office, and you can call that number, 845-713-4320.
And then can they also write to you?
Yeah, they can email us too. Our email is info@breakthroughM2.com.
All right. Well, you heard it right here, breakthroughM2.com and info@breakthroughM2.com. Please feel free to go ahead and send your comments and your questions about anything that you heard in this episode to Nan. She's very, very friendly, and she's very willing to help out, so I thank you for letting them get in touch with you. And also, you should know that Nan's program is very conducive to working with a practitioner's practice, adding in the weight loss to your program. And you can certainly talk to Nan about that as well if you're interested in maybe offering weight loss to your patients as an additional thing. And this is a demographic that is the most popular health demographic out there that we've come to find out as practitioners, but we shy away from it because we don't really have a solution. Nan has some really nice solutions, and I can attest, 4,000 people through the program, and I watched some of the people that she acknowledged this weekend. Wow! Unbelievable. These people deserve much more than a plaque. Right, Nan? Really, for what they've done. And Nan, thank you so much for appearing here today. It was really awesome having you on the show.
Thank you, Frank.
I'm hoping I can ask you to come back maybe, and we can get into some more topics here that may be helpful. What do you say?
I would be willing.
Awesome. Well, workers, please do. If you're not subscribed to the show already, please subscribe. Go to chiropracticmarketingadvice.com/podcast, and right there, any device you have that you can speak of, your computer, your phone, your tablet, whatever it is, the instructions are there on how to sign up. There is no excuse not to be subscribed. The episodes will automatically be downloaded to whatever device you're using, and you'll be able to listen in the car while you're mowing the lawn, whatever you're doing. So do that. And additionally, go to YouTube and put in the search field, all one word, chiropracticmarketingadvice.com, and you will find our channel. Go to the channel and click that little subscribe button. I am putting some awesome videos up there for you that have tips for you and all kinds of stuff. We're going big time with this, so please do that. So my friends, we've come to the end of another thrilling episode. On behalf of myself, my staff, our guest Nanette, and the rest of the chiropracticmarketingadvice.com crew, I thank you so very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time for another hammer down episode of Will Work for Patients. So long.
Be sure to subscribe and share. Will Work for Patients has been brought to you courtesy of Screening Experts, bringing unscripted simplicity to chiropractic marketing complexity. Today's episode, copyright Screening Experts LLC, musical score composed and arranged by Frank Sardella ASCAP. For more information, visit screeningexperts.com.